Okay, we're about to dive into a story that honestly sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but I promise you, it is a very real, very active government program. It's a story that involves millions of flies, a truly terrifying parasite, and a brilliant strategy that creates an invisible wall to protect an entire continent.
14.5 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is roughly how many flies the United States government breeds and then drops from airplanes onto the country of Panama every single week.
So the obvious question is, why? I mean, why on earth would anyone do this? It sounds completely bizarre, but there's a fascinating and incredibly important reason behind this weekly airdrop, and we're going to break it all down.
To understand the plan, first you have to meet the villain of our story. This entire massive multi-million-dollar operation is designed to stop one single thing, a particularly nasty parasitic fly known as the screwworm.
Now, this is not your average housefly. We're not talking about a mosquito that, just bites you and leaves. The screwworm is a far more gruesome creature because its larvae are literal flesh eaters, and they do not discriminate. They'll attack livestock, wildlife, pets, and yes, even people.
Yeah, its life cycle is pure nightmare fuel. It all starts when a female fly finds any open wound, and I mean any, even one as small as a tick bite, and lays hundreds of eggs inside it. When those eggs hatch, the larvae, which are the actual screwworms, don't eat dead tissue. No, they consume the living flesh of their host. As you can imagine, this causes horrific infections and is often fatal if it isn't treated.
So, faced with such a devastating pest, scientists needed a really creative solution, and what they came up with was just brilliant. The idea was, what if you could fight these flies with even more flies?
The core idea here isn't to kill the flies with poison or pesticides. It's to stop them from ever reproducing in the first place. You see, by flooding the population with a massive number of sterile males, you effectively hijack their entire life cycle.
Okay, so here's the playbook. First, a dedicated facility breeds an absolutely enormous number of male screwworm flies. Second, these males are exposed to just enough radiation to make them sterile, but without actually harming them. Third, they get packed onto planes and released over the target area. And here's the final crucial step. Wild female flies, who only mate once in their entire lives, have a super high chance of mating with one of our sterile males. They go on to lay their eggs, but those eggs never hatch. And the result? The entire parasite population just crashes.
So we've got the problem, the screwworm, and we've got the solution, the sterile insect technique. But now we get to the really big picture, the grand strategy. How do you deploy something like this on a continental scale?
Now, it's really important to know that the U.S. actually won this war on its home turf decades ago. By the 1960s,